there's a higher chance that your idea is shit. I think I'm a very much unhireable person. I wanted to create something.
Welcome to The Big Question, the series from Euronews where we speak to some of the biggest names in business. I'm Hannah Brown, and today I'm joined by Christoph Gerber, founder of Lieferando and CEO and founder at Talon One. Thank you very much for joining me today, Christoph. So first of all, I just want to talk to you a little bit about entrepreneurship. You founded Lieferando, Germany's leading food delivery company, in 2009 as you were finishing university. What made you decide to pursue that route?
It's not as romantic as people want it to sound. I had a friend call me. He was an investment banker at UBS in New York. And he said, look, there's this food delivery thing in New York where I order food the whole time, or when he's doing overtime. And I was in uni. I like to do things and not be in academia. So this was, in a way, my get out of uni jail card. You know, like a monopoly, you can get out. And I said, you know what, let's just start that. I think I always make the joke that if he would have called me and said, look, I found the perfect way to sell toilet seats online and we can solve the toilet seat market, I would have done that. So it comes down to I wanted to create something and not just be theoretical in university.
And so at that time, that was a real gap in the market that you spotted here in Germany?
No, it wasn't. Our research was bad. I think in the UK at that point, Just Eat was already big. And I think at that stage where we were, I think I was 23 years old, the youthful not knowing, just let's do it, was the competitive advantage which helped us to conquer the German market. Because if we would have done the proper research on a sort of McKinsey, BCG style, like look at all the competition there is, we would have probably never got into that market. But in a way, when you're 23, you have nothing to lose. You at uni, my parents said, what's the worst that can come? You got to move back to your kid's room, which was nothing I wanted to do, but not actually understanding how big and competitive the market is helped us to start. And then I think we just executed a lot better than the rest.
What kind of drew you to becoming a founder, and what do you think are the kind of important skills or personality type to be a founder?
I have to ask my wife about that. But we looked at my school reports, and in my first report I ever got, which was after 6 months in first grade, it said, Chris wants to lead group work, and if he can't be the leader of a group work, he has a hard time motivating himself. So I think I want to lead, I want to create, and I always want to build. I want to build something. And I just could not see myself working for someone. I think I'm a very much unhireable person. I've never worked for someone, and I don't think that is a concept that works for me. Not everyone has the skill set, the resilience to be a founder or an entrepreneur, and that is okay. I think it would be a very bad world if everybody would be like me or like my co-founder Sebastian, or an entrepreneur and founder. It would be a very unhealthy balance. So I think people need to tread carefully if this really is something they want to do, and some people are better left off in working for a founder in a sort of normal career progression.
What advice would you give to new founders?
Be critical about your own ideas, but also don't listen to everyone that's giving you advice on your ideas. For Lieferando, everyone told us this is not going to work. For Talon One, everyone told us this is not going to work. I think there's a fine balance between listening to feedback and understanding, because there's a very high likelihood that your idea does not have the quality that it needs to produce a successful outcome. But there's also a lot of people that have no idea about what you know about your idea and what you might know about the market or the specifics that could lead for your idea to be very successful. And to have that thin line of self-reflection compared with a good portion of hybris, just push through. That is a very thin balance, and I don't know what the right balance is and what the right mixture is, but in a way you have to push through.
And so going back to kind of your career journey, after you sold Lieferando back in 2015, you started Talon One. Can you just tell me a little bit about actually what Talon One does?
We worked a lot with promotion in food delivery against our competition. And we needed to build everything in-house. So I said, why isn't there something where we could just buy that part of the tech stack and implement? And that eventually led me to think, okay, if this is a problem for me, it's probably a problem for more people, more businesses. Again, all the investors there that I spoke to said, oh, it isn't a problem. It's not an issue. Then I called my co-founder, Sebastian, who I went to uni with, and said, look, I'm really good at productizing, building, but I'm extremely chaotic as a person. I need somebody to be my yang when I'm the yin, or other way. So I need someone to take care of all the unpleasant part of the business, which is running the day-to-day. And then we started.
Obviously, so you essentially do the tech side to allow companies to do rewards, discounts, promotions. Why is that so important for a company and their growth?
In a nutshell, Talent One allows you to really be granular on promotions, discounts, moving inventory, moving overstock. And we have a retailer that spends around 5 billion euros in deducted revenue through promotions. And that is because they just give blanket discounts, 10%, 20%. They give that to their whole audience because they could not so far target the customer groups based on the customer segments, repeat purchaser, someone who likes a blue, someone who likes more like earthy colors, and connect that to the inventory levels they have. So if they could say they can reduce spend or promotional discounts by 10% in that case, without actually influencing the total turnover. So they would sell exactly the same amount, but don't incentivize people that would buy anyway, or actually understand that you would have done the same purchase, not for 20%, but for 5%. And that led us to reduce their promotional spend by around 500 million euros.
And finally, do you think this is kind of the key way that companies can drive sales and protect the bottom line? Or do you think there is other things that companies could do better?
I think we are one part. I would never go as far as say you can save your business with Talent One. If you sell a product and that doesn't align with the values or the quality that you say it should, no Talent One can save you. I think managing rebates, promotions, discounts, your loyalty program is one part of the relationship you have with the customer. And we can really help you save or increase your margin on your products, while also helping you to avoid brand dilution. Because if you always need to discount everything because you don't know how to do it right, it actually destroys your brand equity.
Interesting. And on that note, thank you very much for your insights today, and thank you for joining me on The Big Question.
Thank you.